So these here are my 2002 Mustang spindles. If this was a 94, 95, this would come up about an inch. But 96 to 04, this is straight across. When I read the instructions for my bare brakes that are coming, they recommend pulling off the stock heat shield. So I'm going to do that by drilling out these 3 rivets. Alright, as you can see, I got a grinder out. So I'm going to drill out, going to hammer out, got some punches. Plan A of just drilling the rivets out wasn't going so well. The drill wasn't really cutting through the rivet all that nicely. So what I did instead is I took the grinder, I cut it as flush to the spindle as possible. I mean, I nicked the spindle a little bit, but in these areas, I'm really not too worried about this tiny little bit. After I got it close, I took this 5/32 punch from Crappy Tire, which bent on me. But I was able to cut these out, you know, or punch these out, sorry. And then I took my 1/4 inch drill bit and I just drilled it out the rest of the way, and the heat shield came off no problem. Next up in the cleanup process, I want to pull these dust covers off, the nuts, like all the guts in here. I've actually never been into one of these, so I don't know what's in here. So pull the dust cap off, pull off whatever's underneath, get the hub off, and then I'll be able to clean all the rest off of the spindle here. Alright, so when I was hammering that off, I got really overzealous and I put a hole through this dust cap, so looks like I'll be buying new ones if the new hubs don't come with them already. Just did a little bit of reading just to see if you can get this off just with, you know, a wrench. And people online say these are one-time use, and no, you need an impact to get these off. You will not get these off without like a 24-inch bar. So just working on the bench here, it's not going to happen. I don't have a 36mm socket, nor a 1 3/8. 1 3/8 is what I had on the wrench, which fit on. So I'm going to have to order a socket just to get this off, and then I'll use the impact to get it off. So there was some forum posting that you know, there were some differences between 35 and 36mm on this axle nut. So I came out here last night and I measured, and what I got was, you know, 35.1, you know, 35.5. It kind of varied. So I went up to 36mm, and 36 is super, super loose. Like, I wouldn't expect it to be this loose over a single millimeter. I'm kind of curious as to what the inside dimension on this is. Yeah, so 36.45. So, hell, maybe we're supposed to have 35mm. 36 is good to get it off in any case. This right here is what that nut looks like when it's off. And these are one-time use. I'll be using it for mock-up only, but I will be getting new ones. Alright, so now that I have the spindles apart, I'm going to use this product called Evaporest. I've never used it, but I've seen a video of another guy on YouTube doing it on sn95 spindles as well. I'm just going to fill this up with probably 2 of these, submerge the spindle, and just let it sit for, I'm going to let it sit overnight. I'll check it out tomorrow, and then if I need to let it sit longer, I will let it sit longer. Alright, we've had our spindles in the solution for about 15 hours. Let's get a first look at them. Yeah, I mean, solution looks pretty grimy. Let's just see if these actually, what looking like. I mean, there's still a ton of rust on these. Still very, very bit of slime on there. That's good. Yeah, let's see how the other one's doing. So yeah, still just a ton of rust on this thing. You know, some of these areas are actually coming up pretty clean. So I'm really hopeful that this is going to turn out pretty good at the end. Yeah, like right here on the control arm, you know, the rust is pretty much gone. Yeah, I think we just need some more time. Okay, so about 5 hours later, these have been in here for about 20 hours total. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, I mean, this is really starting to come up, like the rest is really starting to come off here nicely, especially in this area where the hub was sitting before. Not sure how well you can see this, but the rest is pretty much eaten through in some of these areas. Up here where the backing plate was riveted on is bare metal or clean metal now. Yeah, this is coming along nicely. Same thing on this one in the hub area. It's already clean metal. And a lot of this rust is coming off of here. The back side is a little bit more, a little bit thicker rust, so I think that'll just need some more time. Remember, this would have been bolted onto the control arm. Metal's pretty much clear already. Same for the tie rods would have gone on. So really, really impressed so far. You know, the stuff is non-toxic, it's water soluble. From what I've read, once you're done with it, you can pretty much just put it right down the drain and it's not going to hurt anything. It does cut in it. It does sting in the cuts though, so gloves not a terrible idea. Alright, here we are first thing in the morning, some, 37 some odd hours later. Let's take a look at these and see how they're doing. Oh yeah, this is looking real good. Most of the rust is off. There are some of these big chunks left. You know, I can kind of move them with my thumb here a little bit. But there's definitely some areas that were far worse. I'm going to take a little bit more soaking. This one is looking real freaking good, let me tell you. I'm super excited about that. This first one, let's see what it's like. Here we go. Same story on the second one. A lot of this rust is now just kind of flaking off of here. This is really, really impressive. I got a bunch of stuff to do today, so I won't be working on the car until, you know, later in the evening. So get at least another 12 hours to see how this goes, to see how this, or to let this soak. Wow. Super, super nice. Alright, so here we are at about 48 hours of soaking. good that looks. This looks so good. Backside still has a fair amount. A lot of this stuff's just kind of rubbing right off. That looks so good. Alright, number 2. Yeah, same thing here. Ah, this looks good. Some of this is flaking off, some is a little slimy. Yeah, you can see how good this looks. I hope you can see how good this looks. Of course, spindle surface, nothing there. Alright, so here we are, about 63 hours after initially putting this in here. Better light on here. Okay. See, the fluid's pretty dark, or gotten pretty dark compared to when I started. After the first 12 hours, I can pretty much see to the bottom of the bucket. Now I can just see the top spindle, and that's it. I don't care about that. Oh yeah, look at that. That is all the rust, almost completely gone. That is so good. Got a little excess up top here. So right in the back here, there was a lot more rust than anywhere else on this, and right at the top. Almost all the rust is completely gone. It's amazing. Alright, so I just went out and picked up a few scrub brushes just to kind of help this along a little bit. And these are almost completely clean. Just a little bit on the back side here. Now I'm not going to use the bristles on the machine surface at all. That's already clean, so I'm just going to leave that. Just mainly trying to do the rest on the main body here. Yeah, so excited about how clean this is coming out. Alright, so we're 72 hours from where we started with these spindles. Just, you know, there's a little tiny bit of rust there, but it brushed right off. Rust flaking in the backside here. Pretty much gone. Just a little bit of rust flaking right in the back here. This was kind of the heaviest hit area for rust, so there's still flaking in there. A little tiny bit on the top here. For the most part, this is coming right off the brush. Now let's see the second one. Same story. A little bit of rust just right in the middle here. A little bit left in some of the harder hit areas. Maybe the solution settles or something, I don't know. Stir it up a bit. There we got some right on the top here still. Chipped off even. Nice. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in for another 24 hours. I work tomorrow, so I'm just going to leave them in, for an extra, 12 hours. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. And then as soon as I get these out, I'll clean them off, and I'm going to prime them. I don't want these to sit bare, because they'll just start rusting again. So, yeah, so tomorrow's going to be pull them out, clean them up, degrease them, prime them. Alright, here we are. Pretty much 96 hours after we started. We're just waiting for a little tiny bit of rust to come off these guys. Maybe they're still a little tiny bit, but I'm not really too concerned about it. I'm sure a little bit of sandpaper will take it right off. And it looks good. Yeah, it looks so good. Just right in here, there's just this little bit of rust still. Yeah, the rust pretty much evaporated. It's coming apart with my finger here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wash them off and then dry them. Okay, so these came out really, really nice. There was still some rust up in this channel and a few other places, so I took some blue steel rust converting primer and just kind of put it in the areas where I saw some specks of rust. Like I'll put a little bit more here because I don't want to prime over the rust. I want to make sure that I have a good base so that this will last longer than a day. Okay, so now that I've got all the rust cleaned up, I've put a little bit of the blue steel over the still rusty areas. And actually, now that I see it's in the light, there's a little bit more right in this area. So I'm going to get a little blue steel on there before I prime this. But this time I'm going to prime them, just like this. Hanging up, kind of a tight quarter here, but it is what it is. So here is the final result of the spindles after priming them. Look pretty darn good. These have been sitting here for a couple of weeks and no rust coming through. Looks like I should probably get a little bit more right on the bottom here. Right in this area it's a little light. But when I actually go to paint these, I'll be able to cover that up no problem.